Anthony Joshua was unstoppable. Olympic gold medalist, unified heavyweight champion, 22 straight victories. But 3 fights exposed the truth and destroyed his legacy forever. One night shattered his invincibility, another revealed his fragility. The third proved he was never truly elite. Let's reveal the fights that ruined Anthony Joshua's career. Andy Ruiz Jr. June 1st, 2019. June 1st, 2019. Madison Square Garden, New York City. Anthony Joshua walked into the most iconic boxing venue in the world as the unified heavyweight champion. He held the WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO titles. He was undefeated at 22-0 with 21 knockouts. The entire boxing world expected a showcase performance, a dominant victory to announce his arrival in America. Nobody saw the catastrophe coming. His opponent was Andy Ruiz Jr. in a last-minute replacement after Gerald Miller failed 3 drug tests. Ruiz was 5 feet 11, weighed 268 pounds, and looked nothing like a heavyweight champion. The bookmakers made him a 25-1 underdog. Boxing experts predicted an easy Joshua knockout. This was supposed to be a formality, a warm-up fight before the real challenges began. The opening rounds went exactly as expected. Joshua boxed beautifully, using his jab, controlling distance. Then in the third round, he landed a crushing left hook that sent Ruiz crashing to the canvas. Joshua rushed in for the finish, eager to close the show in spectacular fashion. That was his fatal mistake. During the wild exchange that followed, Ruiz clipped Joshua's temple with a hook. Joshua's legs wobbled. His equilibrium vanished. He was concussed, disoriented, struggling to stay upright. Ruiz swarmed him with punches, landing shots that weren't pretty but were effective. Joshua went down. He got up, but his eyes looked empty. The bell saved him from further damage. Round 4 began, and Joshua looked lost. Ruiz pressured him relentlessly, throwing wide punches that connected. Joshua went down again. He rose at the count of 8, but the referee could see the truth. This wasn't the same fighter who entered the ring. The fight continued into the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. Each round showed Joshua deteriorating further. His legendary chin failed him. His power meant nothing against an opponent who refused to respect it. In the 7th round, Ruiz dropped Joshua twice more. After the 4th knockdown, referee Michael Griffin mercifully waved it off at 1 minute and 26 seconds. Technical knockout. Andy Ruiz Jr. defeated Anthony Joshua. The crowd sat in stunned silence. 20,000 British fans who had traveled across the Atlantic to celebrate their champion instead watched his destruction. Joshua skipped the post-fight press conference. His promoter Eddie Hearn looked devastated. The aftermath was brutal. Joshua lost all 4 of his heavyweight titles in one night. The super fight with Deontay Wilder evaporated. His aura of invincibility shattered completely. Boxing fans mocked him for losing to a fat guy. The upset drew comparisons to Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson, one of the greatest shocks in boxing history. Joshua later admitted the painful truth. It was a tough pill to swallow. I just had to deal with the pain and the issues of taking a loss against what people called a fat guy. That night in Madison Square Garden destroyed everything Anthony Joshua had built. 1 fight, 7 rounds, 4 knockdowns, career ruined. Oleksandr Usyk, September 25, 2021. September 25, 2021. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London. Anthony Joshua stepped into the ring as the unified heavyweight champion once again. He had reclaimed his titles from Andy Ruiz Jr. and rebuilt his reputation. He held the WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO belts. This fight was supposed to be a stepping stone toward the undisputed championship against Tyson Fury. Instead, it became the night that exposed the truth about Anthony Joshua. His opponent was Oleksandr Usyk, the former undisputed cruiserweight champion moving up to heavyweight. Usyk was smaller, lighter, and lacked knockout power at the higher weight. Joshua stood 3 inches taller with a 4-inch reach advantage. The betting odds favored Joshua heavily. Nobody expected what happened next. From the opening bell, Usyk controlled the fight with brilliant boxing. He used feints, movement, and a twitchy jab to keep Joshua off balance. His footwork was exceptional, darting in and out, creating angles Joshua couldn't anticipate. Round after round, Usyk landed the cleaner, sharper punches while making Joshua miss. Joshua tried to use his size advantage, pumping his jab, looking for the right uppercut that could end the fight. But Usyk was too elusive, too skilled, too intelligent. Every time Joshua thought he had control, Usyk adjusted and countered beautifully. In the third round, Usyk wobbled Joshua with a straight left hand that sent him stumbling backward. The crowd of 68,000 fans gasped. This wasn't supposed to happen. Joshua was supposed to dominate the smaller man. Instead, he looked confused, frustrated, unable to impose his will. The middle round showed Joshua finding some success with body shots, creating breathing room. But Usyk never stopped coming forward, never stopped throwing combinations, never stopped outworking the champion. Joshua's face showed the damage. His right eye swelled nearly shut. Usyk had a nasty cut over his own right eye, but he kept fighting through it. The championship rounds belonged entirely to Usyk. He walked down the bigger man, throwing massive punches that staggered Joshua repeatedly. In the final seconds of the 12th round, where Usyk unleashed a devastating flurry that had Joshua pinned against the ropes. Only the final bell saved him from a knockout. When the judges' scorecards were read, the result was unanimous. 117 to 112, 116 to 112, and 115 to 113, all for Oleksandr Usyk. Joshua lost his heavyweight titles for the second time in his career. The super fight with Tyson Fury disappeared. His legacy as an elite heavyweight crumbled. Promoter Eddie Hearn admitted the painful truth. "I don't think this was a great performance from AJ. Tonight, Usyk was fantastic. You have to take your hat off to him." BBC Sport called Joshua's performance strange, almost hapless, and said it left his legacy as one of the heavyweight greats in ruins. Anthony Joshua had been completely outclassed by a smaller, technically superior fighter. The myth of his greatness died that night in London. Daniel Dubois, September 21st, 2024. September 21st, 2024. Wembley Stadium, London. Anthony Joshua walked into the biggest boxing event in British history. 96,000 fans packed the stadium, the largest post-war boxing crowd ever in the United Kingdom. Joshua was fighting for the IBF heavyweight title against Daniel Dubois, a fighter many considered overmatched and unworthy. This was supposed to be Joshua's coronation, his path back to glory, his chance to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. Dubois was the underdog in every way. He had lost to Joe Joyce and been stopped by Oleksandr Usyk. Questions about his heart haunted him. Nobody expected him to compete with Joshua, who came in riding a 4-fight winning streak, including a spectacular knockout of Francis Ngannou. And the betting odds heavily favored Joshua. This was supposed to be easy. From the opening bell, everything went wrong for Anthony Joshua. Dubois came forward aggressively, throwing heavy punches, pressuring Joshua immediately. Near the end of the first round, Dubois landed a monstrous arcing right hand that sent Joshua crashing to the canvas. Joshua beat the count, but looked unsteady on his legs. The bell saved him. The second and third rounds were brutal. Dubois swarmed all over Joshua, landing clean power punches repeatedly. Joshua couldn't establish any rhythm, couldn't use his jab effectively, couldn't find any answers. At the end of the third round, a massive left hook sent Joshua tottering into the ropes. Dubois unleashed a ferocious onslaught, hammering him down to the canvas again. Round 4 saw Joshua hit the canvas twice more. One was ruled a slip, but the truth was obvious. Joshua was being destroyed. His corners screamed at him to roll the dice, to take risks, to do something desperate. Joshua started the 5th round more aggressively. He landed a hard right hand that forced Dubois into the corner. For a brief moment, it looked like Joshua might turn the fight around. He threw another full-power right cross at Dubois, who felt it but fired back. Joshua shrugged it off with half a smile and unleashed another attack. Then it ended. With Dubois retreating to his corner and Joshua stepping forward, Dubois lashed a short right hand down into Joshua's chin. It spun him away, crumpling Joshua headlong onto the canvas. The knockout was utterly decisive. Joshua tried to heave himself upright but couldn't. Referee Marcus McDonnell waved it off at 59 seconds of round 5. Technical knockout. Daniel Dubois retained the IBF heavyweight title. Anthony Joshua suffered his 4th professional defeat. The crowd sat in stunned silence. The dream of becoming a 3-time champion died. The chance to fight for undisputed glory vanished. His legacy crumbled completely. Promoters immediately started talking about a rematch with Dubois or a crossover fight with Jake Paul. Joshua's career as an elite heavyweight was finished. Daniel Dubois proved that Anthony Joshua's chin couldn't hold up against real power, that his heart failed when tested, that he was never truly great. That night at Wembley Stadium was the final proof. Anthony Joshua's career was ruined forever. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Anthony Joshua's career-ending defeats, just smash that like button and subscribe for more untold boxing stories. Drop a comment telling us which fight shocked you the most. We've got more legends coming your way, so don't miss out. Thanks for watching.